Hello everyone, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. So today for you I wanted to go ahead and do my July wrap-up, my July book haul, and my August TBR. It's a lot, so let's go ahead and get started right into the books. A couple of the books I've read this month I don't have anymore just because I had them on loan from the library, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Goodreads account to show you the pictures on my iPad, so hopefully that shows up. So the first book I read during the month of July was book 1 of the Amulet series called The Stonekeeper's Curse. This one is by Kazu Kibuishi, and it is a graphic novel. I don't know if you can see the cover. I'm holding it up on my iPad here, and it was wonderful. I rated it, I think, 5 out of 5 stars. Really awesome. The art was lovely. It's just a great story, and I can't wait to pick up the rest of them. So the second book that I read during this month was the third volume of Let's Dance Waltz by Natsumi Ando. It was really lovely. I think I also rated this one 5 out of 5 stars, so woohoo! Next I read The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. And I wish I enjoyed this one more. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I might do a full review of this one. I had a little bit of higher expectations for this one, and I feel like that it just was slow paced, and honestly, more than halfway through the book, I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care if they got what they wanted at the end. I just didn't care. So it had some beautiful poetic words, very flowery language, some lovely references to, I believe, some Middle Eastern type fairy tales. I really enjoyed that part of it, but as far as the storyline and the characters went, I didn't care. The next book that I read was The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and I actually really liked this one. I had to kind of keep taking breaks from it because it was so depressing to me. I don't know if this is my first time reading it. I don't know how many of you have read this. It's very, very touching, very moving, and very observant. And the character of Charlie is so relatable, but at the same time, just from myself and things that I've gone through in my past and things like that, it was depressing, and it was really hard to read straight through without just like feeling that there was a gray cloud following me around, which I think is the point. I mean, that's the point of this book, is to make you think and to make you remember things that maybe you've forgotten. So this is really a great book. I really highly recommend reading it at least once, even if it's not your favorite book in the world. I wouldn't classify it as my favorite, but I really enjoyed it. Next we have No Place Like Oz by Danielle Page. This is one of her short stories that takes place before Dorothy Must Die, and I read Dorothy Must Die already, and this one is the story of Dorothy and how she ends up back in Oz, and it did clarify some things that definitely aren't discussed in the book because it's kind of a huge mystery as to what happened and why did she end up here and who is this character. So I will say, do read Dorothy Must Die first. There are some spoilers in this for Dorothy Must Die, so read Dorothy Must Die first. It will make more sense that way. It's kind of more of a reveal than it is kind of a prologue. The next book that I read was the first volume of the manga Electric Daisy by Motomi Kyosuke, and I really enjoyed this one. This one I was giggling hysterically. I was very invested in the characters just from the get-go. I love this one, and I cannot wait to pick up the rest of them from the library. I hope to own this one. It was great. If you have not read this, you should. If you were a fan at all of just like that high school fun mystery characters manga, you will enjoy it. And I can't wait to pick up volume 2. This was 5 out of 5 stars for me. The next one that I read this month was volumes 1 and 2 of Honey Blood by Miko Mitsuki. I really enjoyed this one. It's just a 2-volume manga, so it does move kind of fast. You've got kind of this, it seems like insta love because it's so quick, but I actually really enjoyed the characters a lot. It's really sweet. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, we have The Fire Rose by Mercedes Lackey. This one's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I really enjoyed this one. It ended differently than I expected, actually. The ending was a little bit of a twist. It did end well. It wasn't like a sad ending, but it did end differently than I was expecting. So I enjoyed that. I appreciated it. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Next on my list, I have volumes 3 and 4 of the series Hanakimi by Hisaya Nakajo, and I really, really like this series a lot. I'm just kind of collecting them as I go. This is my first read through. I don't know if you can see the cover, it's kind of glaring. And I do actually own these ones, but I don't have them with me because I have a friend who's borrowing them at the moment, but I really enjoy these. They're so fun and sweet, and they involve a girl dressing as a boy so she can attend an all-boys school. I mean, you just gotta enjoy stuff like that in a manga, so definitely recommend this one. I think I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Next on my list that I read were The Witch Must Burn and The Wizard Returns by Danielle Page. These are 2 more novellas that are in the Dorothy Must Die series. The Witch Must Burn is about the character Jelia. You meet her in Dorothy Must Die, and definitely huge spoilers for Dorothy Must Die. So do not read these 2 until you've read Dorothy Must Die if you plan on reading this series. The Wizard Returns is of course about the wizard. You do meet him again in Dorothy Must Die. And this is the story of how he returns to Oz and how he becomes the character that we see him as now. Again, huge spoilers. And I would personally say there might have even been spoilers for The Wicked Will Rise and possibly the next book after that, just because now I know something about his character I would not have known otherwise. And I don't know if that was intentional by the author, because she did put this in order before The Wicked Will Rise. That's why I read it. But I definitely think it's possible there could have been a spoiler in there. So warning on that. But yes, it was pretty good. I think I gave both of these 3 out of 5 stars. The next one was part of the Barnes & Noble serial reader program that they have on their Nook app. I do have that. I don't have a Nook, but I do use their app on my iPad and my iPhone. And so the serial reader, if you haven't heard of that before, is they post a different book every month, and they'll post a chapter or 2 every day, and they leave the other chapters up so you can catch up if you get behind, so you're not like, oh no, I missed a chapter. But it's only posted for the 1 month, and it's a really easy read. It kind of helped me a little bit get back into reading when I had this really big slump, because you're not overwhelmed to like try to read so much. You only have to read 1 or 2 chapters depending on how much they posted. So it's a fun way to kind of get to know some new authors maybe. And I have read some total flops for myself personally. I've read some total flops on there, and then I've also read some pretty good ones, and that's how I read Dorothy Must Die, which I somewhat enjoyed, and I'm planning on continuing on with the rest of the series, even past the novellas I've read. So yeah. The serial read for the month of July was A Night Like This by Barbara Freethy. This one's a romance novel, and I really enjoyed it mostly, but I mean, it was cheesy. It was really, it happened really fast. It was kind of a shorter book, so all of the characters, a lot of things just happened really fast. They met forever ago. They were high school sweethearts type of thing. So it was cheesy and adorable, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you were just looking to pick up something, but it definitely was worth the read since it was free and to read on there. This one I gave, I think, 3 out of 5 stars because I liked it. And last but certainly not least, for the month of July, I finished The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and I really loved this one. I actually just finished it last night. This is August 1st when I'm filming this, so I barely hit it under the wire for July, but oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I couldn't believe it took me as long to read it as it actually did, because I was just like, at the end, and every time she has those cliffhanger endings at the end where it's just like one sentence of, you must pick up the next book to find out what happened. And I'm like, no! And then I have to run to my local library the next day and pick it up, which I still need to do. I have it on hold. Blue Lily, Lily Blue is the next one. Can't wait to read it. 5 out of 5 stars. And that is it for my July wrap-up. If you've read any of the books that I'm reading, or if you have any suggestions for me, please leave those below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye!